Oh, what a treat. I love that. You just shook the table and then you wanted to tell me about shaking the table.
Oh, God. When are you going away again? So here we are to discuss Amy Adams' new HBO series that premiered on Sky Atlantic.
Can we just pause there? Amy's new TV series.
Quite
Amy,
something.
who we adore as a movie star, is going to be every week on our screens. What a treat.
Can I just ask you a question? Because you have some form in this. As an actress who obviously, developed a very strong and memorable character in a soap opera, can you really understand the appeal to these Hollywood actresses of sinking their teeth into parts that are longer than just a feature film? You've done feature films and you've done series.
Trouble is, I've never been the star in a feature film.
No, you've not been a star, but I mean, you have.
The chance to get into a character and the way to really inhabit the life of another human over hours and hours must be irresistible.
I mean, I always remember Bryan Cranston in an interview saying how, the luxury of being able to develop a character over something like 86 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go into the sort of microscopic details. And so I guess that's what draws these actors. More and more of them are going to the small screen.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Sharp Objects is the series. And it's based on either a book or stories by the same author as Gone Girl, which was a film we didn't really like, did we?
I liked the book. I loved the book.
Loved the book.
Hated the film.
Wasn't a fan of the film.
Didn't get past the first hour.
No,
first half hour.
So I know that this is used as a bit of a tag to sell a series, written by Gillian Flynn, author of Gone Girl. That for me was a big tick in the negative box.
Except I loved the book.
There you go. But a big tick in the box was by the same people who brought us, is it Pretty Little Lies?
Which we loved.
Which we loved, with Nicole Kidman and everyone.
Reese Witherspoon.
So this series got started with episode 1, which was Get a Story or something, was it? Mm-hmm. Bring me a story. So she's a journalist.
Alcoholic
Journalist.
Who describes herself as trash, born into rich family, old money.
Yeah. Well, my biggest headline on this, and we'll go into the detail of the episode as we went through, what I thought was so refreshingly different about this, almost to anything else I've seen on television, even Patrick Melrose, was how Amy Adams presented a pretty unlikable lead actress. I mean, she wasn't you didn't warm to her, you didn't...
I did.
I found her...
I did, because I know that she's got a lot of pain.
She's damaged. I know she's damaged, but what I thought was nice...
And she's alone, and she's vulnerable, and she's broken.
Sure. But what I thought, there was no fear, but often with these programs, they sugarcoat all characters, so there's something that you really relate to and identify with. But there's no sweetness to her. I thought she seemed pretty, and I thought the depiction of her alcoholism was spot on.
Brilliant.
I mean, it was drab and just...
Oh my God, she made you feel like you never want to have another drink as long as you live.
I mean, she really, really looked hungover when she was hungover.
She's such a good actress though, isn't she?
Really
I mean,
is.
you believe for every second that water she's drinking is vodka.
Yeah.
And you feel the ache in her bones of her hangover.
So episode 1 starts off with her editor, her news editor, I thought was a lovely character.
Very good character.
Wasn't he?
Layered.
Just in that one scene, there's one opening space. I'm pleased you said that.
I mean, at the end, he gives us a million different thoughts about, oh my God, he cares about her. Oh my God, he's worried about her. Oh my God, he's trying to save her. And yet, when you watch it, you might or might not get that, but you won't really, it's not in the script.
It's not in the script, totally.
Obviously,
just one of those micro parts in this episode where you're absolutely right. He had a sort of paternal interest. He was also doing
avuncular, but he was also the big angry boss.
A bit of tough love in there.
Yeah,
like,
the
you
editor.
need to sort this out as well.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be good for you. Anyway, this character is remarkable, and there's a very odd moment with him later in the film where they reveal a detail about his condition, don't they? Which I thought was a bit weird.
What bit about his condition?
Well, that he's clearly ill.
Who?
The editor. When they cut back to him later, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, he sends her on an assignment where there appears to be some related murders happening in the small town that she grew up in. And so the editor uses her connection to the town and the fact that he feels her disconnect with her family, and perhaps this should be resolved, as a reason to send her, doesn't he?
Because he's worried about her drinking.
Yeah, he's worried about her drinking. Well, what do you do when you are a raging alcoholic? Probably one of the last things you should ever do with a raging alcoholic is send them home to see Mummy.
Because Mummy in this, oh my God. I'm
Patricia
so
Clarkson.
excited at what we're going to watch of the unlayering of the onion as we peel it back and see who she is inside, because she's so intriguing.
Isn't she?
Enigmatic.
What have you seen her in before?
We saw her something just really recently.
Patricia
Because when we were
Clarkson.
watching it, it was trailing this.
That's right.
The last thing we were watching, The Pledge, The Station Agent,
The
Green Mile, Far from Heaven.
Dogville. But
something more recent
but there was
than that.
something about her mum, Amy Adams' mum, played by Patricia Clarkson, that was like straight out of a Tennessee Williams play, wasn't
exactly like a Tennessee
it?
Williams.
I mean, and she was
with this fading southern beauty.
And the way drink was coursing through her mother's veins. Yeah. She was softened.
Such an alcoholic, but
almost
not drunk.
Soaked in it. And then what did you think?
But that kind of alcoholic that's perfect and controlled and immaculate.
And that precision in the house where you felt the eggshells. You felt Amy Adams' eggshells walking through.
And you've got this sort of looming presence of the stepfather.
Yes.
And we know there's going to be a whole load of stories coming from him. And when in the first instance you think he's devilish.
Yeah.
Then you feel... And he hardly says a word in this first episode.
In fact, well, he's denoted just by playing loud music. He's playing music in the background.
Then you feel really sorry for him because you think, he's an enabler, rescuer, and he's put upon. But he could possibly turn out to be extremely dark. We don't know.
Well, this is
I'm really excited about him.
Well, yeah, so this is the situation at home. It's also alluded to the fact that she's lost a sister, hasn't she?
Yes.
I was really a bit ambiguous about her relationship with her sisters. What's the sister situation?
Right, okay, so...
I got a bit confused.
I think we were supposed to be a bit confused.
Oh, right.
Because I think maybe... Obviously, there was a very strong connection between them when we see later when she's in her coffin. But I wondered if there was something a little dark as well going on.
An illness? Well, it's clearly an illness.
Well, it's clearly an illness. She had some sort of epilepsy or something, didn't she? But no, I didn't get enough of knowing what's going on.
A really interesting device that's earmarked quite early on in the episode was the way in which it did flashbacks. And as a filmmaker, it was an absolute... Rarely do you see devices that are trotted out all the time in series. You know, Patrick Melrose did it very well, but rarely do you see a device used in a way by nothing more complicated than just the simple act of editing, but done in such a different way. And I thought the way in which they did flashbacks in this was so innovative. And it was very simple what they did. Every time there was a flashback, it came out of a natural head move from Amy Adams looking towards something. And so the cut was a naturalistic cut to what she would see in the now, but it ended up being in the past. And so you had this...
It was a bit confusing.
It was a bit confusing, but once you got into accepting that this would happen...
Yeah, in kind of a nice way, because it sort of turned you upside down a bit.
Well, it turned you upside down, but it also really kind of almost fast-tracked you into her past. It made you realise, if you think about when you have memory flashbacks in real life, they're as much a part of now as they were about what they were then. And I think film often ends up going a bit sepia-toned and it all looks a bit kind of, it's a different time. Flashbacks happen in the now, and I love the way this series has already started saying flashbacks are relevant to now. Yeah. So they're not really flashbacks. They're kind of emotional flash nows.
Yeah.
So this was happening throughout it. But anyway, so what happens? She gradually starts to slowly, in a drunken fashion, get close to the story of this girl.
I don't think we should reveal too much. We don't want to do spoilers here.
No. Have we revealed maybe too much already?
Maybe about the sister. Yeah. No, I think we know quite early on the sister died.
Well, there's a particularly gruesome moment in the town.
Yes, that's what I said we shouldn't reveal.
Okay, but what did you think of the gruesomeness?
I thought it was utterly brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Because we watched it at different times, and I saw this gruesome moment that we won't reveal because it'll be a spoiler. And I remember saying to whoever I was watching it with, I think it was my girlfriend, my wife will hate this moment. And my girlfriend sort of lifted her head off my chest and said, will she?
Maybe that she's your wife and not your lover.
Yes, maybe. But you liked that?
Liked it.
You didn't think it was unbelievable?
No, I thought it was believable.
I thought it was poetic.
I loved the colour of everything.
Yeah, I know what
Was
you
there
mean.
a special filter or something put on it? There was something about it that I really liked the colours.
Yeah.
I liked the edit. I liked the direction. And I just bloody love Amy.
And I have to say, a shout out has to go out to Sophia Lillis, who's the girl that Kiki's mad about, who was in It, who looks literally like Amy Adams as a child.
Yeah, it looks like her daughter. I mean, are we sure it's not her daughter?
Well, she doesn't have the same surname. Well, that doesn't mean anything, does it? Neither do ours. But remarkable, and you can clearly see is there a love
and
interest?
There's a love story coming with the
detective.
Messina, the detective.
Yeah. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I think he shows promise.
Yeah.
I think he shows promise. I think it set it all up. You know how sometimes first episodes can feel a bit like, oh, we've got to set everything up. It was seamless, really. You knew it was being set up. You didn't, and there's lots of lovely pockets that you know you're going to go into and have a good route around it.
That's right. And it wasn't, and I'll tell you something about it that I liked as well. It wasn't, I mean, Patrick Moraz, obviously you've probably seen our post we loved. It wasn't over stylized in that fashion. It was beautifully shot, but it was done in a very naturalistic way. And you were left to kind of work out your own sort of ideas rather than being really directed into what you were thinking. So it was kind of, you were being offered sort of almost shards of an investigation, shards of a personality. So I really enjoyed constructing Amy Adams almost myself, rather than the filmmakers telling us what she was. And we built up to a final shot, which when I said to Nadia afterwards, what was that?
I hadn't even seen it.
What was that? There's something that you'll see in the very final 1 second shot of Amy Adams in the bath.
And if you haven't seen, we're not going to tell you where you're going to see
No.
it. If you haven't seen it, blooming rewind and really, really look, because it's obviously very important.
Very significant, because I played it back, didn't I?
Yeah, I hadn't bloody seen it at all.
Hadn't seen it. And I'm always banging on about how Nadia is every director's worst nightmare. We spend hours, days and weeks getting the one shot, and she'll look down at a cup of tea, drop a biscuit in it and miss it.
I was staring my tea.
Anyway, top notch. Watch
See it.
See what you think. Put your notes at the bottom. Please subscribe. We're going to review the series as long as
Please
it doesn't go the
watch
route of
it.
Westworld.
And tell us what you think of it.
Do.
We think it's going to be
Yes.
such a treat.
And if we get enough replies to all of our reviews of these programs, we'll do little we'll do the little readouts of the contributors. Because you like that, don't you? We like reading out your stuff.
We like reading out your stuff.
By the way, I'm now off on a date with Amy Adams. See you later, babe.
Have a lovely time, darling. Bye.
Bye.
Shut the door.
Amy!